All
Okay,
right.
we're live.
What do we got to talk about today?
First of all, how was your day? How did it go?
It was long, man. They're installing. I told you, right? At Enphase bought me a pool. I wasn't kidding about that. So they're putting it in the ground, and there's always problems in construction. At the end of the day, 7 o'clock, the giant digger, because it's so muddy, he's stuck. So literally, he
He's
sunk.
stuck.
He
Oh, he's
sunk.
sunk.
He sunk right down, like literally into the cab level. Like imagine mud coming into a cab. That's how
Wow.
low he sunk. So now I got to deal with that tomorrow. Not looking forward to it. That's probably like 6 a.m., 7 a.m.
How are you gonna deal with it?
Well, I mean, I just have to be a part of it. I do have contractors, but where the expense falls on because I'm paying a lot for these guys and the equipment and all that. So anyway, rich people problems. I'm just messing around.
Oh my gosh, you're so cocky, bro. You made
No,
so
no,
much
no, no.
money in your life.
No. It's too expensive. I'm actually worried about it because it's so expensive to have these guys there. So we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Shout out to Arvin, Ahad, Midwest, Johnny, Eric, Cameron, Manuel, Richard, a
Hmm.
bunch of folks, Carlos, Paul. Thank you all for being here. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for joining us here. I think people liked the show yesterday. They enjoyed it.
You know what? I don't know, you guys. We couldn't beat Chris's numbers, so I don't know how much you've enjoyed it.
We were like 7 away from Chris's numbers.
Oh yeah,
But
7.
you're
Okay,
late
that's not
night, so
bad. That
that's
is
why.
not bad at all.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start off with daily MVPs, where we give a shout out to anything in the world. What's your daily
Okay.
MVP for today?
I do have one. So I thought long and hard over the last day whether like who am I in this podcast because you got the late show with Chris Kattan or whatever, and now you have the late show with me. So I'm like, yesterday I was saying like, am I what's his name, Conan O'Brien? But now I've thought about it, and I want to share this. So let me present this. I'm gonna
Wow,
share
you
my
actually did
screen.
work for this one. You have something to
I thought
share?
about it,
Oh
and
my god.
do you know what this guy is? Can you see this? So I think I am not Conan O'Brien anymore. I think I'm Andy Richter. So my MVP is Andy Richter because apparently we're one and the same at this point, with way less money than he gets for being a sidekick for Conan O'Brien. So I'm apparently a Mitt's sidekick on the late show. How's it going?
Andy Richter's he has a net worth of $8 million. Oh no,
Oh,
this one says he
nice.
makes 15 million. No, he makes 4 million a year. Something
Yeah, he
like
has
that.
must more have more than $15 million at this point. This guy.
Bro,
All right.
people in the media make so much money, it's insane. Like
Yeah.
it's actually insane how much money people make in the media.
It is true. Yes. If you're a star of a TV show, I mean, you sort of deserve it because you have to stay in that spotlight, right? So it's like an all-star athlete, right?
Yeah.
So even Conan failing out of NBC got paid $75 million to leave.
But why do they get paid this? Is it the advertising dollars? Like, because
Well, he had a
why?
contract and they broke their contract, NBC, because what's his name? Who's the late guy? He wanted to come back.
Letterman? No, not Letterman.
No, the other one.
Seth something. There's Conan. There's
I think
Jimmy
someone in the
Kimmel.
comments will tell us because anyway.
There's a bunch of them.
Yeah. All right. So what are we covering today? Forget about this.
Wait, I didn't give my MVP.
Oh, no one cares about your MVPs.
It's like I gotta give it MVP.
You never actually think about them. At least I thought about this one.
Snapple tea. That's my MVP for today.
Oh God,
that's great. 160 calories. That's it. I'm doing this 1 meal a day thing, so I've been doing it for 3 days straight. It's been
Leno. That's forget your MVP.
Okay,
I'll be honest. We got to move on. Leno, that's who he was. Exactly. Leno wanted to go back to NBC, so Conan got booted, and because Jay Leno wanted back in, and I think Conan got like $75 million or $100 million, something like that,
just to leave.
Just to leave because they broke his contract. It's kind of amazing.
That's insane, bro. Jay Leno, yeah. Peach one's the best. Peach is the best. Okay, first topic of the day, the Fed. What was your reaction to 25 basis points and then the market going up and then coming right back down?
I really didn't pay attention, and I think I mentioned this multiple times. I just don't care at this point. If you're not buying stocks, and I don't want to keep talking about the Fed because I think you had probably 18 hours today of discussing the Fed. Am I right? I mean, anyone who watches the midstreams for 18 hours, just raise your hand saying, yes, he's talked about the Fed too much. I think it doesn't matter. I think it's going to play itself out how it's going to play out. I think the world is not coming to an end. And I think next year we're probably entering some sort of a bull run for good companies, not shitty companies. And that's what I'm collecting.
Okay, so you don't care at all about what Jerome Powell did?
Not really. No.
You have no emotional attachment to how he crashed the market.
I wasn't even paying attention to what he did today. I literally was just checking. The only thing I checked today was Enphase. At least Enphase was down. That's about the only thing I'm happy about.
Okay, so let's go to Enphase then. So I put out a video called "I Bought a New Stock." I actually reacted to you talking about Enphase in that video for 3 minutes. So you were the star of the show of that video.
Cool.
And I got a lot of questions there, so I want to run through those questions because I think a lot of people are having the same concerns, and I think you're the best person to.
Well, I got a question for you. Do people not know what Enphase is yet? I mean, like, I feel like I'm being
man. People don't know what the fuck this company is, and I can't blame them. They're not that popular of a company. Like, so
that's true.
You have picked a bit of a company that you're kind of uncovering, and if you're really right on it, a lot of people are going to be thankful they found you. Because
I think I was already really right on it at $20.
Yeah, but you weren't making content at that. If you were making content,
I was.
Enphase.
By the way, we were. Go back to Freelancer Finance started during the pandemic. We started in 2020, April of 2020, and one of the videos was with Carlos, where I said I'm buying Enphase, and I said Enphase is probably worth at least $20-30 billion. It was $5 billion. Okay.
Yeah.
And Carlos is like, never going to happen.
Really? Carlos said it's never going to happen.
Watch the video. And it played itself out pretty well and pretty fast, more faster than I ever thought. And COVID was a big part of it, obviously.
But Carlos ended up buying a lot as well, right?
He also bought in, and he bought in calls as well. I think he sold them a bit too early, but he made some money on Enphase as well. Yeah.
Okay, so some of these questions for what people are saying. Number one, Amit, how is Enphase different from SunPower or First Solar? SunPower has plunged a lot recently. Do you think it's a better buy than Enphase?
So once again, I think they're not doing their homework. At least that's what it sounds like. Underneath the solar panels. So Enphase doesn't make solar panels. SunPower is a company you get to install solar panels, right? You order solar panels, they come to your house, but they're using products like Enphase, like SolarEdge underneath the panels. That's what they're doing. There's literally two companies, guys, that are the inverter. There's either an optimizer or a microinverter, but let's say just inverter system underneath the panel. Two people in charge of the whole market, like 85% of the market, 90% of the market, SolarEdge and Enphase. That's it. SunPower and First Solar are not doing any of that. They're actually companies that either produce the panels or I think First Solar actually produces panels. I'm not sure of that actually, but they install the panels. The whole point is that they get commodity panels. They have to buy from SolarEdge. They have to buy from Enphase, put them on your roof. That's what those companies do. And Enphase does not do that. They sell to all of the installers. So that's what's special about them, that they own like 40%, plus SolarEdge owns another 40% of this market. So it's a duopoly, basically, for these inverters. And there's different technology. So I'm not going to go and reiterate because Freelancer Finance did a lot of videos on this, but microinverters are not the same thing as power optimizers. So, we can talk about that maybe in a full Enphase video if we do that, but this is the Daily Cowbell. I think people can search my channel and watch like 10 videos on this.
Okay. Another question is, Amit, why won't Tesla just destroy Enphase? Because they're in the energy business, and as a result of that, Tesla is a better buy. I know you did a Tesla Enphase comparison, but this is very specific to like, why won't Tesla do microinverters? Why won't they be better vertically integrated? Stuff like that.
So I'm not saying Tesla will not succeed in inverters because, look, I'm invested in Tesla. If they succeed and Enphase dies, I still win. If Tesla dies and Enphase wins, I still win. I'm investing in both. But if you were to tell me who am I picking for the long term, I think Enphase will win this market of the inverter market because they have better technology. Tesla does something called string inverters. And I do have to explain this a bit. It's actually worse than power optimizers, okay? Tesla's system is not actually the best engineering, which is weird because their cars are the best engineering. So this is weird for Elon to do, but he's trying to keep costs low. So in order to keep costs low, he's doing string inverters, which are not as good as microinverters that go per panel. So in a Tesla solar system, you basically, if you lose a section of your roof or like one panel goes out, right? You will lose a bunch of panels, okay? And you still have basically one inverter system just like the power optimizers in your main, the main conversion to AC is one inverter system. So if anything goes down in a Tesla system, you are depending on Tesla to come and fix it because your whole system is basically screwed for the most part. Okay. And there's more nuance to this, but that's basically the way they're doing it. Enphase doesn't do that. One part of your system goes down. We talked about this. It continues operating. Okay, so why is Tesla not winning? Right now, they only own a few percent of this market, of the solar market, even less probably. It's honestly, Enphase and SolarEdge are the clear winners in terms of owning this market. Can Tesla take this over just because of lower prices? That's possible. That's possible in 5 years. But in the meantime, while they're trying to take over that market, someone has to do well as solar itself increases in the percent in the world, right? So if we are at 3-4% right now, let's say it's going to 10-15% or 20%. Enphase and SolarEdge are the clear beneficiaries of that happening. Tesla's obviously also benefiting, but their focus is not on solar. It's on EVs and that transition and the battery revolution. So they're going to win eventually, maybe. Fine, I'll give you that. But it's not going to happen in the next 5 years. And that means I've picked a winner that I feel very secure in for at least 5 years, if not 10. Hopefully that makes sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And I think that answers a lot of the core technical arguments for why people generally feel that Tesla Solar is going to take over a company like Enphase. I think they're just operating in different verticals at that point as well.
And they just don't care enough yet. So if you just don't care about something enough yet, then someone else is going to fill that vacuum. And Enphase has been there for over a decade filling that vacuum. Not Tesla, Enphase, and SolarEdge.
Right. Okay, that's most of the Enphase comments that I had, and most of the people that were asking questions about that. I think we have 2 more topics today. We have Enovics. We wanted to talk about that and kind of, I guess, what's the core bull case about it. And I think Johnny Boy will be very happy we talk about that. Well,
he'll be yelling at me that I didn't mention everything. So he usually hits me up in private
Johnny
chat.
Guy, I love Johnny. Thank you for being here. But Enovics, every comment is he wants to know about that. But before we get to that, what do you think about Bard AI? Did you have a chance to use it? Google?
I subscribed to the test.
Waitlist?
Yeah, the waitlist, but I have not received an email. Apparently, I'm not special enough. Chris, who's on the early show, on the early late
Chris
show,
got it. Chris said it sucks.
I don't know yet, honestly.
He said it's trash.
And I wouldn't be surprised because this is their version 1 that they're releasing. While GPT has 1, 2, 3, now 4 coming out. They've had a longer time to help develop their core technology, even though it's based on Google's technology. And I think everybody knows this. Doesn't matter. They have spent longer developing it, so it's going to be a better system until Google catches up.
Okay, if it does objectively suck compared to ChatGPT, how do you think they get around this situation?
Oh, no, it's just about, in software, it's about iterating. They have to iterate and iterate. So they have to just, unfortunately, throw more bodies, more money on it, more money at it. And I think they can compete because let's face it, Google can't afford to compete,
John says I've been messing with Bard and it's not very good compared to GPT.
I believe you.
Yeah, some of the stuff I was using GPT today and it was like amazing. Some of the shit it was doing.
It's pretty amazing. I agree.
This like summarized this article and then you just paste it and then I'm just like, that's insane, bro.
It's crazy. And honestly, that's why I'll probably be DCAing into Microsoft because they're buying 50%. Right, they bought it already or buying 50% of OpenAI for some game coupons at Chuck E. Cheese. And so Microsoft has made a coup of this. It's kind of amazing. So very smart of them.
Okay. Moving on to Enovics. Now, TJ Rogers, apparently, this is the guy who transformed Enphase, if I'm not incorrect on this. He buys another 102,000 shares of Enovics today. He has continued to do insider buying on this stock. Is this bullish? Why is he buying? And why do you have a bit of a position in this company as well?
Well, one is just to shut Johnny Boy up because you wouldn't stop talking about freaking every comment he posts is about Enovics. And it's honestly, Johnny Boy, calm down. Okay. This little group of people here is not going to be enough to move the stock market. So, but after him bothering me for probably 6 months,
wait, 6 months in your Discord, he's just nagging you?
He's just nagging, like start a channel. So we started an Enovics channel. And then I love
you have
TJ.
a whole Enovics channel?
Yeah. Go to our Discord. We talk about Enovics all day long now. It's literally it's Enphase and Enovics and Tesla.
This deep into it?
Oh, we're very deep into it. Yeah. And
I thought you said it was a spec play.
It's a spec play, but it's a spec play run by TJ Rogers. If anybody knows this guy, he's the guy who started Cypress Semiconductor. This is a long time ago, probably in the 80s, I think. And that became a multi-billion-dollar company. So this is not a loser. This is a clear winner. And he's an engineer. He's not a dumb guy. So you got to picture him like an Elon Musk type of a person, but not a personality. He's not on Twitter trying to blab around it, but he's very smart. He has engineering background. He knows how to run businesses. He started Cypress Semiconductor. Now he's expanded into venture capital, and he saved Enphase from bankruptcy basically, I don't know, a decade ago, 7 years ago. And Enphase would not be what Enphase is, like we all know it right now, if it wasn't for TJ Rogers coming in, injecting cash, taking over the company, basically becoming chairman, and putting his own people in. He always does this too. This is important. He puts his own people in that can run and operate the business. He's an operator. So honestly, you should do some research on TJ Rogers. So what happened is he came into Enovics. He invested a lot of money. The current CEO was just fired a month ago or 2 months ago. I think January or something like that. Literally, all of them were fired. They were all gotten rid of. He got rid of everybody.
Oh,
and then he did special presentations to his investors saying, we're going to be open with you. We're going to be honest with you. We're going to show you how this is going to work, how we're going to scale. We're going to do this by the book. This is our timeline. He is everything Karp is not, just FYI. So Karp can learn a lot from a guy like that who's a clear operator. And this is important. Actually, you guys should just listen to this guy talk and the way he speaks in his quarterlies. It's very impressive. So as I started listening more to TJ himself, I became more bullish on Enovics, not because just of the battery tech, which is cool, but just because TJ Rogers is such a good operator. And I've learned just from investing in bad companies with bad operators, as we've talked about, that I want to invest in good operators that know how to scale businesses. So he fired everybody, puts in his own people. And one of them was Raj Talluri, I believe the CEO is. Let me just quickly tell you the background of this guy. Do you want to see the LinkedIn of this guy?
Yeah.
All right, let me show you.
Enovics. Can TJ save Palantir?
No, no one can say that. All right, hold on. Let me see.
Oh man,
I gotta stop. I gotta stop screen. Hold on, and do another one. Present, share screen. Let me show you this guy. This is the CEO he put, not TJ. Although TJ is a fascinating character. Like we can watch a video with him right on the stream one day and just like listen to him. He's amazing to listen to.
Yeah, all right. We can listen to him today if you want. Yeah.
So, okay, you see that guy?
Yep.
So this is this operator. So he put in his own people, not just him. There's a couple of others. I don't know all the names yet. Still learning that. It's still a small position for me. It's not a major position like Enphase.
Yep.
Because this is still spec. I just want to point this out. This is spec. No matter what that Johnny Boy says in the comments, they have not scaled their technology. This is the point they're up to, is scaling. But let's look at this guy, Raj. Obviously, Enovics, he's now CEO. Cambridge Mechatronics, I'm not sure what that was, but if you look at Micron Technology, he was there a long time. We know Micron, Qualcomm, Texas Instruments. So this guy has been in Silicon Valley for 20 years, whatever, 20 plus years. That's my point, that he's not putting someone who's starting fresh in semiconductors into this business. He's putting someone who's an operator as well, just like he is. So I'm sort of taking a lot of faith, a leap of faith, maybe, just believing that. Hold on a second. I'm going to stop this share.
I can do it for you. Oh, no. Yeah.
So I'm taking a leap of faith by believing that TJ Rogers is the reason that I'm buying what I bought. Okay. And I did put enough where it'll hurt if it fails, but nothing that'll destroy me, because I still consider it a spec position, you know? And basically, he's the operator I'm betting on. It's not even so much the battery tech, because there's a lot of battery companies and it's hard to tell who's going to win. I actually can't tell who's going to win. I do like what they're doing, and we can talk about that briefly, but it's more about the operator here, that he has scaled businesses. He has taken almost bankrupt businesses, good technology, and has scaled those to win. And he's done it more than just Enphase. There's other companies he did. I don't know his whole history, but you guys can Wikipedia it and stuff. That he's done this over a period of like 30, 40 years. Like he's a clear operator.
What is going on with the insider buying stuff? Why is he buying so many? If he, like, TJ Rogers, is he like an institutional holder? How much does he own of the business? Why does he keep?
You know what? Johnny Boy might answer how much he actually owns if you want to put in the comments, but he owns a large chunk of the business. And I think right now he's just showing you that this business is going to make it. Because I'll give you a couple of data points that they are still scaling their Gen 2 lines of battery production, okay? We're not going to talk specifically about the batteries. We'll do that maybe later, but they're scaling a certain battery that has more energy density. that can last longer, that can do all these things that devices. And Johnny Boy had a good thing that he actually texted me on Discord. He's like, tell him it. Tell him it. I'm telling you, he's all about Enovics. But basically, like, why would you care, Amit? And the reason you might care is because devices now are not used to their full potential because of battery chemistry. Okay, they don't have all of the potential to do everything we want, like VR and AR that's coming. Right, we need better battery tech, and we need, if we're going to have AI in every single system, something that'll help. Enovix is one of those solutions for AI to last longer on a phone, to be on a device, to be on your car, to be wherever. So it's a technology that's going to play into all those things. It's not the thing, it's not AI, but it's going to facilitate the maximum compute power on those devices. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So anyway, that's what Enovix is sort of doing with their battery tech. And they have supposedly a lot of big companies, one of them is Samsung, already interested. One thing that TJ did that I'm impressed with, and Raj, the CEO, they said they were going to announce by March 15th, I believe, a place where they're going to put their factory, their Gen 2 factory, and they picked one early. They picked it in February sometime. So my point is, like, they're operators, okay? They're trying to hit their deadlines and their goals. And Raj and TJ have said multiple times, we're scaling 2x production a quarter, albeit the production right now is shit. Okay, so this is where the spec comes in. It's like we're producing 4,000 batteries or 8,000, something stupid.
That's why Johnny's saying it's not spec, but you're saying
it is spec. I'm saying if you're producing 4,000 batteries, that's like, I mean, a Duracell makes that in a second. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah. Of course it's spec. Until you actually scale real production where people can take your battery and put it in their devices, it's completely speculative. You can fail, in my opinion. Okay. So that's why it's a small position in my portfolio. But if Raj and TJ can double their production, okay, if they can do that consistently, God knows how long, but they're saying at least this year and into next year. So if they can keep doing that, just doubling production, all of a sudden, something that is making 8,000, go ahead, keep doubling for like 8 quarters. You'll see where you get to. So the numbers start to get bigger every single quarter. 8, 16, 32, 64, you know, it becomes exponential. So that's the point. If they can do that, then I'm willing to put more money, even as they go up, by the way. Because right. Enphase, like, I'm still buying Enphase. I was buying it at 20. I'm buying it at 200. So if something is worthwhile and it's supposed to be worth more, that's fine. But you have to show me that you're worth more. I'm not the kind of guy who's going to put like $1 million until there's any rando and then just go down with the ship with TJ. I don't want to go down with TJ. But I don't mind participating in the upside with TJ.
Well, you know? if they're growing and they're doubling capacity every quarter, and as you said, they're operating, and then you've got TJ on the backside of it, it's almost like, I'm not saying he's Jeff Bezos, but if Bezos starts something, you really take a look at what is Bezos doing, because he's executed flawlessly with Amazon.
Right. It's exactly the same thing. If Elon Musk comes to you and says, look, I want to, you know, I'm starting a space company right now, like after he did Tesla.
Yeah.
You'd be like, all right, space is probably not going to work out, but you know, you did Tesla. Let me invest 100 grand with you. Let me just do that. Yeah. I'm willing to lose that, whatever. That's Elon Musk. So I think that TJ Rogers has a similar cachet in terms of investors. So I think they think he's the operator and they're betting on him. Because honestly, if you look at the stock, you want to go to the stock for a second?
Yeah. And by the way, while we're doing this, guys, you can start leaving your questions. We do the last 5 minutes, we do questions. So any questions, it could be personal stuff, stock stuff, leave it below and we'll get into that.
Okay, hold on. So now share screen again.
Someone says, Amit, when are you doing genomic stocks weekly? I don't think I'm that into genomics to do it weekly, but I will have a podcast with someone who's big on Beam, and I'll talk to them soon.
I just want to point out, Amit will only do podcasts on shitty stocks.
SoFi, but no, we got to do an Enphase weekly now.
So, as long as the stock is like a piece of junk and is going to fail, he will do a weekly podcast for you. But as soon as it's quality, he will not give you a weekly podcast. Just FYI, people.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So I'm messing around. All right. So statistics, you know, if you look at statistics, the price of sales is 270 because, like, you know, they're making 8 batteries. So
yeah.
So if you look at the statistics on it, you'd be like, why would any rational person invest in this? So this is the kind of thing that, and it's also valued, by the way, market cap is valued at 1.7 billion. Remember, if you made 8 batteries, okay, I'm being facetious, but they didn't make a lot of batteries. If you made 8 batteries and then they're valuing it at almost $2 billion, like, obviously TJ Rogers is the reason they're valuing you that way. Obviously the technology is good, but TJ Rogers must be a key component of this. And the fact that he's buying has sort of propelled the stock even a little bit further, I think, right now, a couple of bucks at least, you know?
Yeah.
So To me, it's a spec until they execute, until they scale, until Samsung announces that we are releasing our next phone with Enovics or something like that happens. But I want to be a part of that story, because like, look, Johnny Boy was right. He was buying Enphase at $1. Okay, some of the people in our Discord,
Johnny
$1.
Boy was buying Enphase at $1.
Yeah, 98 cents. If Johnny Boy wants to,
Has he sold?
I'm sure he sold along the way. I don't know. You can ask him. He's in the comments. But and I'm sure he's living a grand life if you were buying at 98 cents. I mean,
Johnny, can you give us like a 1-paragraph summary on what your life is like now that you bought it at $1? I would just love to know. It would be very interesting.
Actually, we should bring him on a podcast. I told him he should come on a podcast.
He should, yeah.
And he can talk to us. Yeah. He can tell us a story of why he would invest in like a complete spec play. So he thinks this is another winner. And I'm not saying he's wrong. I actually think he's right. That's why I put in a good position where I'll be happy if they do win, like he says. Okay, because he has price targets and all this. I think his price targets are crazy, Johnny, just so you know. But that doesn't matter.
What is his price target?
I mean, I think he's thinking it's like hundreds of dollars in the next couple of years. I'm like, I'd be happy if it was like $50. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From 10 to 50, a 5x is pretty good for me. And Johnny Boy has way more shares than I do, so I think if it's 50, he's probably done. Admit it, Johnny. He's probably retired at that point. So anyway, I think it's an interesting company to look at. I would not say go all into this at all. I think still it's speculative completely, but it's very interesting with the operators behind it. Absolutely. With long history in Silicon Valley of winning. Okay, not losing, not a little bit of winning, like literally just gangbuster billionaires winning all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, look, leadership is a big deal. And if TJ Rogers is buying heavily, it means he obviously knows something about the company, or he has a growth trajectory potential in his mind for the company. And then it's a question of execution. But if the guy has proven he can execute, that's where I think I see your argument about it's worth a tiny position of the portfolio.
Yeah. And I think I did text you. I texted Amit saying, I think this was a week ago when it was like $9. It was something lower. I was like, maybe you should buy a little bit.
Yeah.
And just like, have it on the side. If it goes away, big deal. I always think a spec position, it should be like a 1% type of a thing. That if it goes away, that no one is crushed. But imagine it becomes 20% of your portfolio, right?
But do you think now is the time to DCA into it, or do you think?
Well, it's so overvalued that, I mean, either you believe that it's going to play out and TJ is a clear operator and he's going to win because he told you he's going to win. He literally, you should watch everyone should watch his videos. And he's saying, this is what's going to happen. These are my deadlines. This is how it's going to play out. And now he's buying to show people that he is invested in it. He's not messing around. So I kind of like that. I kind of like the things he's doing. And he speaks very plainly, very clearly, exactly the numbers, gives you the dates, the opposite of someone else we know and love or hate, Carp. But it's a total dichotomy. Two different sides of a personality and how they speak to their investor base. This guy is a clear operator. And anyway, that's what I'm investing in, the operator side of this. Because I can't tell if the battery's going to win. Honestly, I don't know.
Okay, cool. Let's get into last 5 minutes with some questions. So we got 2 questions from me. Amit, how is Aldea going, your startup, and how much runway does Aldea have? Dia has about 3 years of runway, so we're pretty good when it comes to money. In terms of how it's going, look, September to January was amazing for us in terms of growth. And then in February, I've been public about this. Our main source of traffic got cut off because life happens. We got punched in the face. And so we are trying to figure out how to develop another source of traffic. I actually emailed, I'll tell Vitaly off camera, some really high profile people today that got back to me and they want to set up a meeting. They are in the content creator space and the investor space. So now it's just about forming partnerships and seeing what we can do. It is the dog days of trying to build a startup and get your name out there and do it. But we just released version 2 of the product. I haven't made a public announcement of it yet because I'm waiting to do it with a couple other announcements. So everyone can head to the website, see what it looks like. The app, you can update it. It looks totally different before, like thousands of less bugs. I can promise that. And check out kind of what it feels like.
I'm going right now. Let me check this out.
Yeah, check it out. Aldea.io. It is totally different from before. It is completely different.
It is. Yeah, I could see that.
It came out like 3 days ago, the new update.
Very cool.
At what age did Vitaly go bald?
That's just my secret. Who says I'm bald? How do you know what's under here?
Have you been in my bedroom? Bald. You just never show it. That's why.
Have you been in my bedroom, Ranger the dog?
I have, and that's why Cindy doesn't like me. But
what's next? What's next? I want Ranger blocked.
Ranger's in love with Kelly too. So,
Oh, I see. Kelly's mine, Ranger, because my wife is
um,
into,
you're probably not going
racers.
to answer this, but what is the current value of your total portfolio, including real
No,
estate?
I'm definitely not going to answer that.
It's like in the millions for Vitaly.
Definitely not going to answer that. It's in the tens of dollars.
$100. What stocks do you hold that you don't talk or make videos about?
I still hold. I don't. I mention it, but I hold AT&T. I hold Verizon. I hold SCHD. Like there's just some dividend stocks that I don't really talk about in the show, but I still buy them every now and then. If there's like an AT&T dip, I'll buy a couple $100 of AT&T because they pay 7% or 5% dividend now or 6% dividend. And I don't care if it goes up or down as long as they're not going away. That's what's important to me.
What will happen to Coinbase? Did you see they got sued or they're looking like they're going to get sued by the SEC today?
I didn't see that.
They got a Wells notice.
And well, Coinbase is like a bet on crypto, meaning like Bitcoin, Ethereum, that they do well. So I consider it sort of along with those kinds of bets that if Bitcoin ends up running again, I honestly think Coinbase is like another 5 to 10x. Like, but then you're going to get that in crypto. You're going to get that by doing that in Bitcoin. So I don't know if you need to buy Coinbase. I feel like you could just buy Bitcoin and Ethereum and just play it that way.
Yeah, Coinbase, the financials are absolutely undervalued. I mean, if you just look at the it's crazy undervalued,
Yeah.
but it's a bet on crypto. TJ bought a 1057. I have faith TJ can double his money.
I would, yeah. The one thing I think about spec stocks like this, they don't need too much actual fundamentals to play out to double. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Meaning like from $10 to $20, this can run. If we have a good moment in the stock market, this can go to $20, not be worth it. Yeah. And I would sell some. Let me point that out. I am definitely a seller at certain prices. So over 20, I would sell a bit off my position, maybe a third of my position or half of my position. What was that?
You just broke Johnny's heart.
I don't need every stock I have. And it took a long time. This is actually a valuable lesson. I don't know how many younger investors here, but you don't need to own every stock forever. So at some point, you just want to take the money. And if you miss the next run of the next 10x, but you still have half your shares because they paid for the other half, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
So, but it takes a minute to get there,
It absolutely takes a minute to get into that mindset. I 100% agree.
Yeah, I've been selling Enphase, like I said. When I was selling at 300, I didn't like selling it. Even 270, 290, I sold a bunch of 300, 270, 290, 320. I didn't like selling it because I really believe in that company's worth way more. But sometimes I want a pool,
Wait, hold on. I have a question for you. When you, let's say those shares you bought at $20, like when you sell Enphase, how do you make sure that you're selling the $20 shares from COVID so that you don't get the sales tax versus like the $220 shares?
No, you want to sell a certain lot. I usually sell lots. So I was buying Enphase from 20 to 200 or 220, right? And let's say it goes to 300. I try to sell the most expensive lot.
But wait,
but also that has long.
You can pick that lot inside of your brokerage.
You can. You can't do it. Maybe I don't know if you can do this in Robinhood, but you can do it in TD Ameritrade, Fidelity, like those kinds of things have options to say, sell my latest one, sell my earliest buy, sell first in, first out, first in, last out, whatever. There's a bunch of options. E-Trade and Fidelity actually let you pick lots. So you can say, I want to sell the long-term lot, so I'm only charged 20%, but that I bought at the highest price.
Right.
So then I'm like selling my $200 shares that went up to $300, but I'm not selling the $20 shares that went up to $300 because that would be a massive tax bill. So I'm trying to avoid that tax bill. Okay. This is not financial advice.
It sounds pretty legit. What you're saying.
You have to get your own, financial advisor, people.
Charles said, I need the dark mode. We have dark mode. So on the left-hand side of the desktop, there's literally a button called dark mode. And on the right-hand side, if you sign in and you click the profile picture at the top, you get dark mode as well. So we got that for you guys.
Johnny says, but Robinhood has glitter. That's why you go there.
That's literally, that's why I go there. It's attracted to me. If Elon perished, would you sell Tesla?
I think I would sell half. I think I would. But I would keep half of it because the operation is sort of, I think it's an autopilot for these next vehicles. So I think the scaling to like 10 million vehicles, like the Model 2, the Semi, all these, whatever else they're coming out with, the Roadster, even full self-driving. I think those things are on autopilot now. I think the teams that he has, and he's clearly shown it in his last presentation, that they're amazing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're also operators. So I wouldn't mind holding half of it. But if he's gone, then I know there's no more upside after around, I think after 2 trillion, 3 trillion, it's done.
Interesting. The Tesla bulls are not going to like after 2 trillion, it's done.
Well, I'm saying when Elon is gone.
Oh, if Elon's gone.
Because
okay.
who's going to worry about bots if you're just a standard CEO?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
That's only Elon, man.
Who's a CEO that you think could run Tesla besides Elon? Is there any name that comes to your mind that could actually scale it to 5 to 6 trillion? Is there anyone you think that's?
I honestly, Elon is a one of a kind. I don't think there's. I can't even say Steve Jobs if he was alive, because he was a one of a kind, but he was an operator and not an engineer. Yeah. I think Elon has a unique set of capabilities, being an engineering mind, engineer, programmer, and businessman. A very good businessman.
Do you know anything about ABCL, Accelera?
No.
Chris is really bullish on this one. Chris is like, this is something.
He's trying to pump his stock on this fucking on my channel.
Chris, like, no, on our show, Chris was like, no, this should be 5% of your portfolio at least.
Well, Andy Richter says F you, Chris. Okay. Honestly, I didn't do enough homework to anything else, and I'm so busy with like these other like spec. Enovics is my spec play with TJ Rogers. Enphase is clearly what I'm just care about buying right now, along with Tesla. Like I don't need another position to win. I just don't. Like I feel my positions are good enough. I don't need others to win.
Okay, here's my last question for you. Why did you get a pool?
Elon Musk is an engineer, by the way. He literally sold programs.
Yeah.
This is idiotic. He sold programs when he was 8 years old, 10 years old, or whatever. He sold his first game or whatever. He's an engineer. He's a software developer. He's a programmer. He went to what? He went to physics, right? At Stanford. Was that it? I forgot what it was. It was like something in physics.
Yes, and then UPenn after that. Yeah.
Something like that. Of course he's an engineer. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, definitely an engineer.
Yeah.
Quick, any thoughts on HIMS? Any thoughts on that ticker symbol?
I hear obviously people talking about it, but God, it's a clothing company. People get over it. It's like, oh no, that's the erectile. Oh no, that's the ED company, right? That's the ED company.
That's the erectile dysfunction company, I think.
All right, so you probably know more about that.
It was so funny because it was so predictable.
I know. I had to say. No, I did hear about HIMS. I think the other clothing company was Figs. I thought I was referring to Figs and HIMS. Look, I don't care about this. Like, I don't know enough about ED to and how much money they can make on it that I wouldn't even risk going into something like that. That's like me going to Kathy Wood's ARC genomic stuff. Like, I just don't know enough about that stuff, so I'm going to stay out of it. It's not my core competency, as Buffett would say. I just don't know enough about it. It could win, it could lose. I have no idea.
Thoughts on Google?
Oh, Google is undervalued, 100%.
Okay. Last question for you from me. Why did you buy a pool for your house?
When you have kids and a family and you get older, there's more important things than just holding your investments for forever. So it actually takes a long time to learn that. I used to just literally every dollar would go towards investing, whether it was my business or my career or stocks or houses. Like literally every dollar I would have would go into those things. And I wouldn't like try to spend on myself. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the last couple of years with Enphase and Tesla sort of blowing up, I was like, it's time that I spend a little bit on my family, myself, and that kind of stuff. So it takes a long time to learn that. And
but why a pool in particular?
Well, I mean, what do you mean? People like pools. I don't know what you mean.
Like, are you actually going to swim in it, or are you just going to look at it?
No. We plan to use it, and now I can have family over, and they have to come over because it's now an event, right?
Yeah.
So they have to come over to me because they live in Brooklyn and they don't have pools. Okay, so they have to come to me.
That's true, and you know how to barbecue, right? So it'll be like a whole little event.
There's barbecuing, right? That stuff. I consider that important too now in my old age.
Yeah. Did you go saltwater or no?
And you know what? Amit is invited, and I'm starting to know Johnny Boy. I might invite Johnny Boy too to come down. For the grand.
Is he in
opening.
Jersey or is he in New York, Johnny Boy?
No, I think he's somewhere else. He's somewhere in the Deep South, probably.
Someone from the Deep South talk about Enphase, huh?
Hey, that's fine. I'll invite anybody who actually believes in solar and batteries.
Chris, is Chris invited?
Chris is absolutely invited.
So we're having a Palantir pool party, basically.
if as soon as you mention Palantir, you get kicked out of the pool party.
Midwest says he'll bring the weed. Johnny's in Virginia. Okay. All right.
Hey, Virginia's not
We gotta
far,
have
man.
Fuddbucker too, bro. We gotta have Fuddbucker here.
We're in Brooklyn.
Our speedos welcome.
Well,
Oh my
as
God.
you guys, if you come on our Discord, Freelancer Finance, and you get to know us, if I become your friend, you're invited. If I don't know you and you're just a stranger named Dogfucker, then you're not invited.
Okay. Awesome stuff. First of all, thank you 135 people for being here. It's really awesome.
135. Once again, we lose because we're the late
We're the late night. Chris, we had 207. So we gotta work up the numbers a little bit to get there.
I think what time slot is Chris in?
Well, today Chris was at 8 to 9, but usually he's 9 to 10.
All right, we're 7 to 8 guys from now on.
Yo, if the numbers suck at 7 to 8, that just means they fuck with Chris.
We don't even get a bump from Chris because like everyone's like, I'm tired of this shit. Let me turn it off.
Well, no, today I took an hour break because I went from. That's why yesterday was better. We went from 9 to 10 to 10 to 10:30, but I had a meeting at 9 to 10, so that's why we had to do 8 to 9 and then 10 to 11. So,
all right, that's more information I wanted to know. Thanks everybody. I appreciate you joining us. I do like the community here, and so it's great.
We're forming a community. It's awesome. Day by day, daily forming a community.
See you in 2 weeks. Peace out.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Bye.